Rick Robinson here, Philadelphia, PA, American Library Association 2025 edition of their annual conference, and I am here at Zoom into Books, the premier author interview site on the internet. Love to go and find things on the Google. We're the place to go. And right now I have a wonderful couple of books. We're going to talk with the author. We're going to talk with the illustrator. Fee Halen is the illustrator. Mary McCluskey is the author. Mom and daughter team putting out some books. And I got to tell you, you come here, you give me the books the first time, and the first thing I see is on the book that is an award-winning book, by the way, a Mom's Choice Award book. Foreword by Mariel Hemingway. Now, enjoy this part, Fee, because not everybody gets to put the name Hemingway on the front of their first book that they come out with. How did you get Mariel Hemingway involved with these books?
Well, she endorsed the first book, which is The Leader of the Parade. She knew the publisher. And then I also had met her at a conference about 10 years ago. And so it was kind of a confluence of factors. And then when I was writing Bubbles, Balloons, and Birds, which is the second book in the series, I asked her if she'd write the foreword. She said yes.
That is wonderful. That is fantastic. I always hope, she seemed like such a nice person, and to see that she would do something like that just absolutely solidifies my faith in human nature, that she really is a nice person.
She actually interviewed me on her podcast about the book.
Really? That's cool.
She reads the foreword on the podcast.
Oh, that's very cool. Now, okay, so these books are wonderfully written. They've got a light edge to them, but they deal with some serious issues, don't they? Tell me what these books are about.
Well, the books are about really different human emotions. And, Bubbles, Balloons, and Birds focuses a little bit more on coping with adversity, sometimes trauma, and just how to survive and thrive. So it walks through different ways of coping and feeling, and tries to normalize feelings.
Yeah, and you go through a bunch of different ways that kids can normalize those emotions, right?
Yes.
Whether it be, give me a few of those, like nature exposure.
Can I read you an excerpt from?
Sure.
That's probably the best way to do it.
Sure.
All right, so this is an excerpt from The Leader of the Parade, which is the first book in the series. Some of the children talked about people who had died, while others spoke about pets that had passed away. They all agreed this made them very sad as well as mad. Dr. A assured them that these were normal feelings and that this was good to talk about, that it was good to talk about them. Some of the children cried. Dr. A told them to imagine that their tears were memories full of color that watered the earth. He said some people believe that's why flowers are all different colors and why so many people love flowers as much as they do. So it uses nature to kind of as a metaphor for feelings and how to use nature to heal.
Okay, that is brilliant, and there's other ways of mindfulness and other things that come forth in these books as well, right?
Yes.
Fee, going to you now.
Sorry?
This is your first big gig as an illustrator.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in all this with Mom?
Well, I've always been into art. I go to high school for the arts, so she figured she'd ask me when I was younger. I had time. We started these kind of during the pandemic, so
Yeah, we had a lot of time during the pandemic.
we had time to work on them, and I had time to draw, so we figured why not. So I did the characters for her and the animals, and yeah, when I was around 11.
Yeah. So she drew the characters when she was 11. She's 15 now. And to add another dimension, my mom isn't here, but my mom, part of the reason
She did the paintings in the book, right?
she does a lot of the paintings in the book. Yeah, I did a few of them, but my mom did most of them. And so I wanted to create a book for my mom, who had just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, I wanted to put
yeah.
all of her life's paintings in a book, and so I kind of combined it with my work as a therapist. And so it was a 3-generation book, and
That's very cool.
Fiona put her characters, using graphics, she put them in the paintings in the book. So,
Fee,
so
do you have aspirations of your own to try and put something together one day of being an author, or?
I mean, I also love writing just like my mother does. So I'd love to write anything, but yeah, illustrating is important to me. This was a great project to work on, and I'd love to do more with my mom, obviously, as far as collaborating. Maybe I'll write something with her at some point. But, yeah.
See, people like me have spent their whole lives, it took me till I was 40 years old to get my first book published. You're an award-winning illustrator that started at 11, okay? You got a future in this, and that's just the cool thing about this is that, again, but with your mom as well, that you have now a family generational set of books that you put together. I think that's really cool. So, what inspired you to get into all of this? What took you to get to this?
Well, I mean, I was a creative writing major, creative and psychology major in college, a double major. So I always liked to write, and I'm a therapist, and I work with families, adults, families, and children, and I wanted to make so during the pandemic also, I wrote an article that was published in the Clinical Social Work Journal about revitalizing somebody named Alfred Adler. Alfred Adler is the main character in these books. So these are historical fiction books.
Okay.
But the article was about revitalizing his ideas and he was late 1800s was when he was around to the early 1900s, and he had so many great ideas, but they got kind of forgotten under the tide of different things. And so I wanted to take his ideas and bring them more into the mainstream, and I knew people reading there's only so many people that read academic journals. And so I decided that
not exactly what you pick up on the beach to sit down and go, oh, here's a good academic journal that I'm going to read.
So I thought, and Adler very much wanted to reach children and families with a very similar message. So my message is very similar to his. Obviously, I incorporate my own work as a therapist, but I wanted to make his ideas more accessible to more people. And
for people who are then have parents or something like that that are with children who are dealing with trying to teach their children about whatever adversity it is they're dealing with. Now, in Bubbles, Balloons, and Birds, this is really about dealing with adversity, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Give me an example of I'm a grandparent now as well as a parent, so give me an example where I would want to pick up this book and maybe read it to a grandchild, a child, something of that nature.
Yeah, sure. So what I would encourage you to do as a grandparent is actually read the book first, because all of the concepts in the book, well, it's a children's book, all of the concepts are equally as applicable to you. So they're clinical concepts that I use in therapy with adults. So nothing is child specific, but so I would recommend that you read it first so that you can kind of think about how you would answer some of the questions, because kids have a lot of questions, and sometimes as adults we're like, oh, you have to kind of process it and think about, well, how do I feel about that? So I would recommend you read it first, and then you read it with the child and have a dialogue.
And I notice in these books there's some work pages and things of that nature. There's workbook pages and things that you can do with them as well.
Yeah, and throughout the book there's prompts that say, stop for 10 seconds and do this mindfulness exercise. So, I envision it as kind of a family kind of book discussion, where everybody has their own ideas, and you might ask your granddaughter, grandson about, well, what did you think about what Hope said? Like, do you understand, to understand if they are getting the meaning. And so you might need to talk to them a little bit about it.
What's next?
What's next?
But you get the two of you going to collaborate on another book?
Sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-oh, we got the minds already circulating. So there we go. We're going to be waiting for more.
A Mouse Named Pigment in Chopin's Piano is a young adult, not a chapter book, but a young adult novel is coming out next.
Very good.
And some of Fee's drawings will be in the book.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But it's,
that is
more,
wonderful.
it's more of a novel.
Well, thanks for being. But I shouldn't mention this is a Mom's Choice Award winner.
They both are now.
Yeah, both of them are now. For those folks who we've mentioned it in all these broadcasts, Mom's Choice is one of the places you go where you want to see books that are approved for moms. You know, mom says this was okay. We want to read this book. We're going to go there. There's lots of stuff in Mom's Choice. This is a gold winner from Mom's Choice Award, so you know it's a good book. You know it's out there. Again, award-winning illustrator, a award-winning author, Mary. Thank you for being with us here on Zoom into Books here in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA, 2025. Zoom, 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 zoom. Thank you all for being here.